Dickinson. Number 52, Brown. Number 44 is Todd. Number 42, Love. And number 40, McDaniel, Jeff McDaniel. That's the starting lineup for Flint River. And now for the Fullington Trojans. Jeff Barron, Murphy Head. Jeff Peavy, number 34. Keith Brannon, number 12. And Chuck Jackson, number 34. These boys look fired up tonight. Our girls didn't look very fired up, but the boys look like they're fired up and ready to play. Flint River coming into this game now meet Fullington. Fullington ranked 3rd. And the game is just getting underway. Jeff Peavy beat jumping with Todd, number 44, taller of the two. Jeff Todd, taller than Jeff Peavy. But it's good to see Jeff Peavy dressed out. Todd and Peavy will be jumping to get this boys' game underway. And it's going to be a jump ball now by Brannon and Love. Tipped over to Love, and Brannon tied him up. So be jumping over now, Brannon. And is taken by Peavy to Jackson. Jackson back out to Barron. Barron over to Brannon in the corner to Barron. Barron to Jackson on the outside. Chuck Jackson with the ball over to Barron on the outside the key. Barron driving into the basket, and is kicked by Dickinson. Wayne's not that fast. Ball wouldn't be back to the ceiling. Barron with it now. Into Peavy. Peavy driving under the basket, and number 44, Todd's going to be called for a foul. Fullington to bring the ball in, 7:33. Barron into Head. Out to Jackson. We're in the first quarter. Brannon with it in the corner, back to Barron. Barron inside the key, over to Head. Head, back to Jackson. Jackson to Barron. Barron passed over to Jackson. Jackson bounced into Peavy, over to Brannon. Brannon tries from the corner, and it's no good. Taken by Dickinson. 7 minutes left to play in the first quarter, no score. Brown with the ball, being guarded by Head. Brown over to Dickinson. Dickinson in the corner, being guarded by Barron. Back out to Brown. Number 12 is called for a foul on Flint River. Dickinson. Fullington to bring the ball in. Fullington to bring the ball in now. Barron with it. Barron with the ball. Over to Head. Head back over to Peavy. Peavy. Over to Head. And it's taken by Barron. And Barron loses the ball out, and we're going to have to move up. Back over to Brown. Brown with it. Back over to number 12, Dickinson. Dickinson. Oh, Dickinson puts it up. It's no good. And it's taken by Todd. Todd with the ball. And puts it in for 2. 6:19 left to play. 2-0 is the score in favor of Flint River. Peavy with the ball. Peavy over to Barron. Barron over to Jackson. Jackson over to Head. Back to Barron. Back to Jackson. Back to Barron. Barron inside the key. Back to Jackson. Jackson outside the key. Over to Brannon and to Peavy. Peavy on the baseline, putting up, and it's blocked by Todd for Flint River. 2-0 the score in favor of Flint River. Brown going down with the ball. Over to Dickinson. Dickinson putting up, it's no good. Rebounded by Dickinson, put back up by him, it's no good. It's taken by Brennan, and Todd's going to be called for a foul. Todd called for a foul. Jackson will be bringing the ball into Barron. 2-0 the score here in the first quarter. 5:29 left to play. Jeff Barron crossing midcourt to Brennan. Back to Barron. Barron out to Jackson. Back to Barron. Barron with it to Brennan in the corner. And it's knocked out of bounds by Dickinson. Barron will be bringing the ball in. To Jackson. To Barron. Brennan over to Head in the corner. Head put it up for 2. 2-2 is the score. 4:55 left to play here in the first quarter. 2-2. Dickinson with it on the outside. Brown with it now on the outside. Brown over to Dickinson. Dickinson driving in for 2. 4-2 the score in favor of Flint River. 4:29 left to play. Head with it. Jackson back to Barron. Barron over to Jackson. To Barron. Barron puts it up and it's good. 4-4. All tied up. 4:11 left to go here in the first quarter. 4 minutes 11 seconds left to play. 4-4. Flint River bring the ball down. Brown with it. Brown over to Dickinson. Dickinson going into the basket. He's going to be fouled by Barron. 4-4. All tied up. 4:03 left to play here in the first quarter. Brown with it. Getting into Dickinson. Dickinson puts it in for 2. 6-4. 2-point lead now. And number 12 is going to be called for a foul. Dickinson. Fullington bringing the ball in. Jackson into Barron. 6-4. 2-point lead. And it's thrown away by Murphy Head. Anticipating Barron to break, I guess, and it's thrown away. Flint River be bringing the ball in. Brown across the midcourt. Dickinson driving into the basket, partially blocked, but then taken by number 40, McDaniel, and he puts it in for 2. 8-4. Barron with it. Over to Head. Head crosses midcourt. And number 40, I believe, is going to be called for a foul. McDaniel. McDaniel called for a foul. 8-4 here in the first quarter. 3:28 left to play. Murphy Head will be going to the line. Murphy Head going to line to shoot a 1-and-1. 8-4, 3:28 left to play in the first quarter. The first shot's good. 8-5 here in the first quarter. 3:28 left to play. Head puts the next shot up. It's good. 8-6, a 2-point lead now for Flint River. Dickinson. Over to Brown. Brown back to Dickinson. Dickinson putting up a jumper. It's no good. Taken by Brennan. Keith Brennan over to Barron. Barron with the ball. Over to Head. Head crosses midcourt. And he's come to call for rolling the ball down court. Number 42, Love, be Fullington's ball. 8-6, 3:02 left to play. Jackson over to Barron. Barron over to Head. And Dickinson's going to be called for a foul. Dixon called for a foul. Calhoun coming into the game now for Flint River. Dickinson coming out. Murphy Head to be going to the line. 8-6 the score. 2:53 left to play in the first quarter. Murphy Head ready to put the first shot up, and it's good. 8-7, 1 point lead now for Flint River. Head puts the second shot up, and it's good. 8 the score. All tied up. 2:53 left to play in the first quarter. Calhoun bring the ball down over to number 52, Brown. Brown with it, going into the basket, puts it up, it's no good. Taken by Jackson. Jackson down to Barron. Barron driving into the basket, back out to Head. Head over to Barron. Barron, and he's called for walking. Be a turnover, will be Flint River's ball, tied up 8-all, 2:31 left to play right here. In the first quarter, Calhoun bring the ball into Love. Calhoun across the midcourt, being guarded by Barron. Into Brown. Brown inside the key. Over to number 42, Love. Love puts it up, it's no good. It's taken by Peavy. Peavy over to Barron. 2:13 left to play in the first quarter. Barron with the ball for Fullington. Barron back to Head. Back to Jackson. Jackson on the outside. Jackson back to Barron. Into Head. Barron with it on the outside. Barron to Brannon. Over to Head in the corner. Over to Jackson. Jackson back to Barron. Barron putting up a jumper, and it's in and out, no good. Taken by Head. Head going around with a puck shot that was good. 2 points. 10-8 the score here in the first quarter. 1:33 left to play in the first quarter. 2-point lead now for Fullington. Calhoun with the ball over to number 42, Love. Back into Todd and puts it in for 2. Tied up, 1:19 left to play here in the first quarter. Peavy with it over to Head, over to Barron. Barron back out to Head. To Jackson. Barron with it. Over to Brannon. Back to Barron. Barron to Brannon in the corner. Back to Barron. Barron from the key. Puts it up. It's no good. It's taken by Calhoun for Flint River. Tied up 10-all. The clock does not show it. It's going to be out on Flint River. It's all tied up, but the clock does not show it. Barron with it over to Brannon, and he's trying to get it to Head and goes out of bounds. .38 seconds left to play here in the first quarter. Calhoun over to Todd. Todd over to Brown. Brown with it. Back out to Calhoun. Calhoun out to Brown. Brown driving into the basket, puts it up for 2. 12-10 is the score. .11 seconds to go, 10 seconds. 6 seconds, 5 seconds. Head puts it up for 2. They're having trouble with the clock at the end of the first quarter, and they're having problems with the clock. The score is still tied up 12-all, and you're listening to Tournament Basketball on 3WN Radio. They can't get the... What is it? It's all tied up. 12 all. The clock does not show that. Peavy will be jumping now with Todd. It's controlled by Flint River. It's taken by Brown. Brown crossing the midcourt to Calhoun. Back to Brown. It's taken away by Peavy, by Brannon. Brannon over to Head. Head. You're going to have to move. Back to Head. Head over in the corner. Back to Barron. Barron driving down on the outside. Going to put it up, and he's going to be fouled by McDaniel. No. Call a foul on Head. Flint River with the ball now, tied up, 12 all, and they break the press. McDaniel with it, McDaniel. Back out to Calhoun, Calhoun on the outside, over to Brown, Brown on the outside. Brown trying to get it into Todd. Love with it on the outside, being guarded by Jackson, back out to Calhoun. Calhoun, over to number 52, Brown. Brown going into the basket, throws back out to Love. Love back out to Brown. Brown out to Calhoun. All tied up, 12 all here in the second quarter. Brown with it, going into the basket, putting it in for two. 14-12 in favor of Flint River. Fullington with the ball. Barron with it. Barron coming down across midcourt, driving in basket over to Brandon, put it up, no good. Right under the basket. Brown with it, back out to Calhoun. Calhoun crossing midcourt. Calhoun, 14-12, 2-point lead for Flint River. Brown with it in the corner. Brown getting into Todd. Todd putting it up for two. 16-12, 4-point lead now for Fullington. For Flint River. Fullington bring the ball in. Barron with it. Barron over to Peavy. Peavy to Head. Back to Jackson, to Barron. Barron with it over to Brandon in the corner. Back to Barron. Barron into Head. Head going into the line, going to put it up, and it's blocked by number 40. It's going to be a jump between McDaniel and Peavy. Be a jump now between McDaniel and Peavy. 16-12, 5:54 left to play in the first quarter. McDaniel jumping and taken by Jeff Peavy. Back out to Jackson, over to Barron. Barron with it. Going to be called for riding on his leg. Be Flint River's ball out, 16-12, a 4-point lead now for Flint River. Calhoun brings the ball into Love. Love back to Calhoun. Breaking it down to Brown, then down to McDaniel. McDaniel driving in the basket, and it's going to be out on Fullington. Flint River to bring the ball in. Calhoun puts it up from the corner. It's no good. Todd gets the rebound. It's going to be out on Keith Brannon. Knocked out by Keith. 4-point lead here in the first quarter. 5:32 left to play in the second quarter. The clock's not working right at all tonight. It's showing the first quarter, but we're into the... It's going to be a foul call on Keith Brannon, I believe. Keith Brannon called for a foul. We're 5:23 left to play in the second quarter. Flint River bring the ball in. Calhoun. Back out to Brown. Brown over to Calhoun. Calhoun back over to number 42, Love. Love getting it in to Todd. Todd puts it up. It's no good. Taken by Brannon. Knocked away by Brown. Love with the ball. Taken away by Jackson. Barron with the ball. Over to Head. Head putting up a jumper for two. 16-14. Now 2-point lead for Flint River. 4:52 left to play in the second quarter. Brown. Love with it. Trying to get it over to McDaniel. McDaniel with it. Calhoun outside the key, being guarded by Barron. Over to Brown. Brown. Over to the 42 Love. Back out to Calhoun. Calhoun on the outside. Back over to Love and back. Love gives in to Todd, and Todd puts it in for 2. 18-14. Full 13 left to play in the second quarter. Jeff Peavy with the ball now. Over to Jackson, back to Head. Head putting up a jumper way outside. It's good. 18-16, a 2-point lead now. Tracy Mixon coming into the game now. Chuck Jackson coming out. Mixon coming into the game for Fullington. 18-16, a 2-point lead here in the second quarter. 3:51 left to play in the second quarter. Flint River ahead by 2. Bryan with the ball, back out to Calhoun. Calhoun back over to Love. Love puts it up, it's no good. Taken by Brannon. Brannon over to Head. Head crosses midcourt, being guarded by Love. To Brannon in the corner, into Peavy, under the basket, and it's knocked back out to number 44, Todd. Picks it up for Flint River. A 2-point lead for Flint River here in the second quarter. Brown with it. Brown back out to Calhoun. Calhoun over to Brown. Brown with it in the corner. Going into Todd, and Todd is going to be fouled by Brannon. That's Jeff's second foul. Murphy Head has 2, 4, 6, 18, about 14 points here in the first half. 3:05 left to play in the first half here. Going into McDaniels, right on the basket, puts it in for 2. 20-16. Barron and the Head trying to get across midcourt. Mixon back to Barron. To Brannon in the corner. Brannon puts it up, it's no good. Taken by Calhoun. 20-16, a 4-point lead now. 2:36 left to play in the second quarter. Flint River into McDaniels. An alley-oop play right on the baseline. McDaniels scores 22-16. Mixon with it. Going to put it up, and it's no good. Rebounded by Calhoun. 22-16. Flint River ahead by 6. 2:14 left to play in the second quarter. Calhoun with it into McDaniels. Back out to Calhoun. Calhoun driving in the basket. Back out to Brown. Brown on the outside. Brown over to Love. Love putting it up from the side, and it's no good. And it's taken by Barron. Jeff Barron with it, knocked loose by number 42, Love. Knocked back in bounds by into Brown. 22-16. Brown putting up from the outside. It's no good. Fullington can't get a rebound, and I believe that was number 44, Todd. 24-16. Head loses control of it. Knocks it away by Brown. 24-16. 8-point lead now. 1:28 left to play in the second quarter. Calhoun back out to Brown. Over to Calhoun in the corner. Calhoun putting it up, no good. Taken by Peavy. Peavy with the ball. A foul is going to be called on number 42, Love. Love fouled Peavy. 24-16, an 8-point lead. 1:14 left to play in the second quarter. Jeff Peavy be going to the line. Jeff Peavy going to the line, shooting 1 and 1. 24-16 the score. First shot's up, and it's good. 24. 17. Jeff Peavy have a chance to tack another one up. 1:14 left to play in the second quarter. The second shot's up, it's no good. It's taken by McDaniels, number 40. Jeff McDaniels. Flint River, 24-17. 1:02 left to play in the second quarter. Back out to Love. Love out to Brown. Over to Calhoun. Calhoun back out to Brown. Brown about mid-court over to Calhoun. Back to Brown. Brown over to Love. Back out to Brown. Playing a game of stall now. Playing for the last shot here in the second quarter. 24-17 is the score. 30 seconds left to play. Flint River ahead by 7. Brown with it. Brown back out to Calhoun. Calhoun on the side, back to Brown. 17 seconds left to play. Love with it. Love back out to Brown. Motioning for Calhoun to go on inside. Brown with it out to the key back over to number 14 Calhoun, back to Brown, and Love tries a shot from the corner, and it's no good. Going to be a jump ball between Keith Brennan and Calhoun, number 14, with 2 seconds left to play in the second quarter. 2 seconds left to play in the second quarter, 24-17. Brennan and Calhoun jumping, taken by head thrown all the way down, almost going in again. At the end of the second quarter, then halftime, the score of 24-17 in favor of Flint River. And you're listening to Tournament Basketball on 3WN Radio. Todd was 8, 10, and McDaniel was 6. In foul trouble, Barron only has 2, Brandon with 2. In foul situation, Flint River, Dickinson with 3, Todd with 2, Love with 1, and McDaniel with 1. The score 24-17. And we got about 7:45 left to play here, or before we get the third quarter underway here at Westfield Academy. The girls in the first game losing, of course, losing out in tournament play. And we'd like to give you the breakdown of what the girls are doing now. Barnesville be going against the winner of Baker and Beechwood. Barnesville winning over Fullington tonight, and they'll be going against Baker and Beechwood. And the winner of the Baker and Beechwood team are game tomorrow afternoon. Piedmont and McDonough play, and the winner of that game will go against Flint River. Flint River is rated number 1, ranked number 1, 6:58 left until we go into the third quarter. In the boys' game, if the boys can pull this one out tonight, Flint River and Fullington playing here. The winner of this game will take on the winner of McDonough and Barnesville. Barnesville being listed as number 2. McDonough listed number 5. Baker and Piedmont will play, and the winner of that game will take on Beechwood boys, who is ranked number 1. The tournament will go up through Saturday night. The boys will play at 8:30. So the girls losing out in the first game tonight, and it's been a good season for the girls game, but they lost out tonight here in the first game. So again, kind of recapping of the girls. Bodger tonight in the girls game, Penny Bodger had 8 points and 4 fouls. Tanya Garden had no points. Hamsley had 6 points. Everett had 2. Kynard had 4. Mars had 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 14. And Kimbrough, who came in the game, had 2. Fullington had 30 fouls called on them in the girls' game tonight. The Trojanets had 30 fouls called on them. And Barnesville hit on all but 4 fouls, I believe. Barnesville girls having 18 fouls called on them. Again, the Fullington girls are not playing as well. It not seem they was as charged up for the game. The boys starting off pretty good tonight, being charged up for theirs, but right now they're behind by 7 points. So we'll see what the outcome of the third quarter. We're about 5 minutes away from the third quarter. Getting it underway. 7-point lead right now for Fullington. 7-point lead for Flint River. We've had to move up a little bit higher. We're away from Wayne. Wayne operating our camera. 4.5 minutes until we start the third quarter. In the girls' game, at the end of the first quarter, the score was 12-11. Fullington ahead by 1. Then it was Barnesville 23, Fullington 14. And then at halftime, it was 23-14. Then in the third quarter, Barnesville 32, Fullington 23. The final game, final score of the girls' game was 52-36. A 16-point defeat handed to Fullington tonight. Murphy Head having a good first half tonight. As we'll give you his points again. He's got 14 points, Barron with 2, Peavy with 1. Barron has 2, Peavy has 1 foul, 1 point. Barron with just 2 fouls and Brannon with 2 fouls. The boys in pretty good shape considering the fouls. Flint River, Dickinson got in foul trouble early with 3 fouls. You want to come up? We were running out of our spot down there. Some man had an operation and he couldn't move. A man climbed up 11 flights of stairs and he had an operation and we had to move. I'm going to say a back operation too. 2:38 left to play. But we stood in front of him all during the girls' game. It didn't matter. But he kind of got ugly a while ago, so we had to move. 2:25 left to play. And we're going to have coconut cake. I better not. I probably couldn't talk. Miss Freddie Barron just want a coconut cake, and we'll take it home with us. We'll do that. Oh. You're listening to this right now on Cable 6 in Vine and Cordell, and as quick as we can get this film back down, we hope you'll be seeing it on TV at 9 o'clock tonight. As soon as we can get it wrapped up here tonight, we got 2 more quarters to go, and we'll be getting the film back, and you'll be seeing it right on Channel 6. The boys have come back out now to warm up about 1 minute and 34 seconds away from the third quarter. Getting underway. Again, Flint River with a 7-point lead. 24-17 is the score in favor of Flint River. Angel Lockman winning that game from right under the basket. But 1 minute away from the beginning of the third quarter. And it should be a good second half. Because with Brannon not scoring yet and Peavy with only 1 point and Barron with 2 points, we should be in for a good second half. Jeff McDaniels, number 40, is a tall boy. I remember him blocking a lot of shots before when Fullington played. Of course, Brown, number 52, he's played a good game. About 18 seconds away from the third quarter getting underway. Fullington coming out on the court now, ready to set up and get started. It's 5 seconds away from now. 24-17. We're ready to get the third quarter underway. Jeff Peavy will be jumping with number 44, Todd. Todd and Peavy will be jumping. A 7-point lead. And here's going to be called for a foul. Jeff McDaniel going up hard, and Murphy hit at the same time, and Heads call for a foul. Brown will be bringing the ball in now for Flint River. Over to Calhoun. Third quarter just getting underway. Back to Brown. Brown on the outside. Over to Calhoun. Calhoun putting it up, and it's in and out, no good. And McDaniel's going to be called for a foul. McDaniel's called for a foul, so Fullington will be bringing the ball in. Barron to Brannon. Brannon with the ball over to Head. Head crossing the court. Over to Jackson. Jackson over to Barron. Barron back to Jackson. Over to Head. Head puts it in for two. 24-19. Now 5-point lead now for Flint River. 7:09 left to play here in the third quarter. 24-19, 7:02 left to play. And Jeff Peavy is going to be called for a foul. I believe the basket counted. 24-19. 7:01 here in the third quarter. McDaniels, Jeff McDaniels ready to put the first one up. It's no good. And McDaniel is called for a foul, number 40. That's his third foul. Jeff McDaniel called for a foul. And their coach can't believe it. They call it on Todd. They changed it. I thought they said number 40. You might have said 40. I don't know. They changed it from McDaniel to Todd. Jeff Peavy with it to Jackson. Jackson back to Peavy. Peavy right on the basket, puts it in for two. 26-21, a 5-point lead now for the Flint River. The boys here in the third quarter, 6:42 left to play. Brown on the outside, into Calhoun. Dickinson going into the basket, and it's going to be knocked out on bounds on Flint River, on Fullington. Brown will be bringing the ball in. Brown trying to get it in. Love, and it goes out on him, so Barron will be bringing the ball in. Barron with it over to Head. Head over to Peavy. To Jackson in the corner. Back out to Head. Head over to Barron. Barron driving in the basket to Brannon. Over in the corner. Back out to Head. Barron driving on the outside. Over to Barron. To Brannon. All the way over to Head. Head going to put it up, and it's good. 26-23, a 3-point lead now for Flint River. 6:02 left to play in the third quarter. Brown bring the ball down over to number 12, Dickinson. Dickinson going into the basket, going to put it up for two. 28-23. Head with the ball now. Back to Peavy, over to Barron. Barron driving down on the outside. Barron back out to Peavy. It's knocked away by number 42. Love, and it's going to be called out on Jeff Peavy. 28-23. 28-23, a 5-point lead for Flint River. 5:35 left to play in the third quarter. Taking a timeout to get some water off the floor where Peavy went down, and also Law, number 42, going after the ball. Flint River be bringing the ball in. Brown on the outside. Brown into Dickinson. Dickinson trying to get it into number 44, Todd. It's out on his hands. He couldn't control it. 28-23, a 5-point lead now. Fullington with the ball, Brandon with it, over to Head. Head. Oh my goodness, over to Jackson, and it's going to be a jump ball between Jackson and Todd. Jackson and Todd will be jumping. 28-23. 5:24 left to play in the third quarter. It's controlled by Brown from Flint River. 5:19 left to play in the third quarter. Brown with it over to Dickinson. Dickinson trying to get it into McDaniel. McDaniel puts it up twice and hits on the second time. Peavy into Head. Head over to Barron. Barron with the ball. Barron back to Head. Head with the ball, needs to get it across midcourt to Barron. And they're going to be called for not getting across the line. Not getting across in time, 30-23. Bozeman calls a timeout. Fullington behind by 7 points now. 4:58 points, I believe it is. It's time back in now, 30-23, 4:58 left to play in the third quarter. 7-point lead now for Flint River. Brown be bringing the ball in for Flint River. Brown at the top of the key over to Calhoun. Calhoun getting it into Todd. Todd puts it up and it's no good. He puts another one up, it's no good. Finally Todd gets another rebound. He's called for 3 seconds on Flint River. 30-23. Favor of Flint River, 4:41, 7-point lead. Murphy hit over to Barron. Barron back to Head. Head crossing midcourt. Head driving in the basket, and now back out to Barron. Barron on the outside. Barron over to Brannon. Brannon all the way over to Head. Head takes a jump, throws to Peavy. Peavy putting it up for 2. 30-25. 5-point lead now for Flint River. Brown bringing the ball down. Over to Calhoun. Calhoun on the side. Back out to Brown. 5-point lead now for Flint River. Getting it in for number 12, Dickinson, who puts it in for 2. Barron just breaking everything all the way down to Peavy. Over to Jackson, and Peavy under the basket. And called for 3 seconds. My goodness alive. (32-25), 3:50 left to play in the third quarter. Flint River crosses midcourt, almost taken away by Brannon. McDaniel had it back over to Calhoun, back to Brown. Brown back over to Dickinson, and he's called for walking. 32-25 here in the third quarter. 3:30 left to play. Barron into Head. Head crosses midcourt to Jackson. Jackson putting up a jumper, and it's no good. It's taken by Head. And number 14, Calhoun's going to be called for a foul. 32-25 here in the third quarter, 3:18. Calhoun fouling on that play. Fullington will be bringing the ball in. 3:18 left to play in the third quarter. Barron with it over to Brannon. Brannon in the corner all the way to Head. Head into Peavy, and Peavy going to put it up, but he's knocked out and foul on Brown. Jeff Peavy fouled by Brown. 32-25 the score in the third quarter. 3:09 left to play. And Brown is called for a foul. Brown's called for a foul. 32-25, 3:09 to play. Be a 1-1. 3:09 left to play in the third quarter. Murphy Head will be going to the line. Let's see. They got 3, 4, 6, 9, 10, 12 fouls on Flint River. Head ready to put the first shot up, a 1-1, and it's good. 32-26. Head ready to tack another one. 32-26 is the score right now. It's up, it's good. 32-27. 3:08 left to play in the third quarter. Calhoun across the midcourt, getting it down to Brown, and no, they're going to call a foul on Brannon. That's his third foul. Brown will be bringing the ball in. 32-27 is the score in favor of Flint River. Calhoun with it in the corner. Back out to Brown. 5-point lead for Flint River. And to Dickerson right in the lane. He puts it in for 2. Barron with the ball now for Fullington. Over to Head. Head. Back over to Peavy. Peavy going into the basket. Over to Jackson. Jackson over to Barron. Barron driving in the basket. It's knocked away by number 52, Brown. Not called for a foul. 34-27. 7-point lead. Now Brown at the top of the key. I'm not believing this. I'm not believing they call a foul on Keith Brannon. But they did. And that's his 4th foul. And he comes out of the game. Tracy Mixon goes in. 34-27 is the score in favor of Flint River here in the third quarter. 2:25 left to play in the third quarter. Brown, if he bring the ball in to number 12, Dickerson. Dickerson back to Brown. Brown goes back out to midcourt. Brown over to McDaniel. McDaniel back to Brown. Back over to Calhoun. Calhoun driving on the outside. Over to number 40, McDaniel. Back out to Calhoun. Calhoun back to Brown. Back to Calhoun. Calhoun back to Brown. Brown way out midway of the court. Brown over to Dickerson. Dickerson going in toward the basket, and it's going to be called a foul on Jeff Peavy, number 34. That's Jeff's second foul. 7-point lead now for Flint River. 1:45 left to play in the third quarter. Dickerson will be going to the line to shoot a 1-1. The first shot's up, and it's no good. And let's see who they're going to call a foul on. We're scared to call it now. They call it on Dickerson. 34-27, a foul call on Dickerson. And Flint River calls a timeout with the score 34-27. There's 1:44 left to play here in the third quarter. 4-27 is the score. It'll be a 1-1 situation. As Jeff Barron goes to the line. 34-27, Jeff Barron going to the line now. 1:44 left to play in the third quarter. Barron puts the first shot up, and it's good. 34-28, 6-point lead for Flint River. Jeff Barron ready to put another one up. It's up, and it's no good. It's taken by Brown of Flint River. Brown crosses midcourt. Back over to Calhoun. Calhoun coming out to midcourt. Brown has it. Getting into Todd. Todd feeds over to Brown. Brown goes in for a layup for 2. 36-28. Jeff Barron breaking everything, just coming right on down court. Going on the baseline. Back out to Jackson. Over to Head. Head inside the key. Head back to Barron. Barron going into the basket, and Called a foul on number 14, I believe, Calhoun. Foul on Calhoun. That's his second foul. 36-28. 1:07 left to play in the third quarter. Jeff Barron will be shooting a 1-and-1. First shot's up, it's good. He'll have a chance to tack another one on, 36-29. The shot's up, and it's good. 36-30, a 6-point lead now for Flint River. Brown with it over to Love. Love back to Brown, to Calhoun. And Peavy's going to be called for a foul. As he run all over McDaniel. 36-30. That's Jeff's third foul. Keith Brannon out of the game with 4 fouls. Keith Brannon has 4 fouls on him. Tracy Nixon's in the game. McDaniel putting a 1-and-1 up, and it's good. 37-30. 7-point lead now for Flint River. They'll have a chance to make it 2. It's good. 38-30. Head with the ball. Flint River putting the press on, caused a little concern for Fullington. Barron with it on outside the key. Barron to Peavy. Peavy all the way over to Head. Head going along the baseline, putting it up for 2. 38-32, a 6-point lead now for Flint River. Calhoun to Brown. Brown with the ball. Back over to Love. Love back over to Calhoun. Calhoun across the midcourt, loses control of it, and it's taken away by Calhoun, who feeds down to Todd and puts it in for 2. 40-32, Barron with the ball. So Head crosses the key, back to Jackson to Barron. Barron inside the key, putting it up, and it's no good. Taken by Peavy, puts it up for 2. 40-34, a 6-point lead now for Flint River. And it's a long shot here at the end of the third quarter. At the end of the third quarter, the score is 40-34 in favor of Flint River. About 5:30, I believe. The girls losing tonight, and of course, they're out of it right now. Put them out of it. Fourth quarter, ready to get back underway now. Again, Keith Brannon is not in the game. He has 4 fouls. He's setting out a little bit. 40-34, 6-point lead for Flint River. Dixon will be jumping now with Todd to begin the fourth quarter. It'll be a turnover for Fullington. Be Flint River's ball being brought in by Brown. Brown into Love, number 42. Brown with it out at midcourt. Brown driving out at midcourt, and he's going to be called for charging. Murphy Head is set up, and Brown's called for charging. That's his third foul. Fullington will be bringing the ball in. Head with it, back over to Barron. Barron to Mixon in the corner, back to Barron. Barron all the way over to Head in the corner. Head driving into the basket, puts it up, it's partially blocked, taken by Peavy. Peavy going to put it up, it's no good. It's taken by Brown. A lot of contact under the boards tonight on both teams. Brown with it, back out to Love. Love over to Brown. 7:13 left to play in the game, a 6-point lead. Brown dribbling around, back out to Love. Love. And Peavy's going to be called for a foul. That's Jeff's 4th foul. Jeff will come out, and Keith Brannon will go back in. A 6-point lead now. Flint River, 40-34. Todd will be going to the line to shoot a 1-and-1. He's ready to put the first one up. And it's good. 41-34, 7-point lead now for Flint River. He's ready to put the second shot up. And it's no good. It's going to be Mixon is going to be fouled by number 14, Calhoun. 7 minutes left to go in the game. 7-point lead for Flint River. 7 minutes away from being where the boys will play tomorrow night or not. I mean Friday night, excuse me. Mixon putting the first shot up, and it's good. 41-35 here in the fourth quarter. 7 minutes left to play in the fourth quarter. The second shot's up, it's good. 41-36. Love with the ball. Love over to Calhoun. To McDaniels. McDaniels with it. Over to Brown. Brown out at midcourt. They're just playing a game of stall. They're in the lead by 5 points. Calhoun now on the outside at about midcourt. Brown driving in the basket. Goes over to McDaniel. McDaniel back out to Love. Love over to Brown. Brown back over to Love. Love on the outside, being guarded by Jackson. And he's going to be called for walking. 41-36. Dickinson comes back in the game now, and Love comes out. Fullington with the ball, 41-36, a 5-point lead. Fullington needs to get it across midcourt to Barron. Barron crosses midcourt. Over to Brandon. Brandon puts it up for 2. Good shot by Keith Brennan. Flint River with the ball. Brown with it. Over to Dickinson, back to Brown. 41-38, a 3-point lead now for Flint River. Brown with it. Over to Dickinson. Dickinson being guarded by Barron and Jackson both. Throws over to Calhoun. Calhoun with it. Calhoun with the, he's going to be called for walking. Fullington putting the press on has caused Flint River. Todd, number 44 for Flint River's high score for them. Okay, time back in now. Barron over to Head. Head crossing midcourt. Over to Barron. Barron driving into the corner. Fakes a jump and pulls back and gives it to Brennan. Brennan to Head. Head to Jackson. Jackson back to Head. Head outside the key. Over to Jackson. Jackson comes on the outside of the key. Over to Barron. Barron. Barron motion for Head to go over into the corner. Over to Mixon. Mixon with the ball, and they've not called a play. He's trying to get it out of bounds and couldn't. Taken away by Brown. Brown crosses midcourt. 41-38. Calhoun with it. Over to McDaniels. McDaniels back out to Brown. 5 minutes left to play in the boys' game. 3-point lead for Flint River. Dickinson with it, driving in the basket, putting up a jumper, and it's no good. Taken by Brennan. Brennan to Head. Head crossing midcourt. 4:48 left to play in the fourth quarter. Head all the way back out to Barron. Barron now with the ball on the outside. Over to Jackson with it, back to Barron. Barron driving into the basket, putting up a jumper, and he's going to be fouled by number 14, Calhoun. And that's Calhoun's fourth foul. 4:33 left to play in the game, 41-38, a 3-point lead. Barron will be going to the line to shoot this will be a 2-shot foul. 41-38. 4:33 left to play in the game. Barron ready to put the first shot up. Finish good. Strip the net on that one. Barron ready to put the second shot up. It's good. 41-40. Now a 1-point lead for Flint River. Brown with it. Brown back out to the midcourt. And to Dickinson. Dickinson putting it up, and it's no good, and it's taken by a head. Now Murphy Head with the ball. Barron, 1-point lead for Flint River. 4:14 left to play in the game. Jeff Barron across the midcourt with it. Flint River sits back up in defense. Barron with it. Over to Peavy. Peavy back out to Jackson. Jackson about midcourt. Back over to Barron. Barron on the outside trying to get it into Peavy, and it's kicked out of bounds by number 40. McDaniel, so it'll be Fullington's ball in. Barron with it into Jackson. 1-point lead. 3:58 left to play in the full quarter. Barron looking over to Brennan in the corner. Barron back out to Jackson. Jackson way on the outside of the key with it. Over to Barron. Barron driving the basket. Back out to Brennan. Brennan going over to Jackson. Jackson outside the key. 3:41 left to play in the fourth quarter. A 1-point lead. Barron with it. Over to Head. It's going to be out on number 12, Calhoun. Be Fullington's ball. Bozeman calling a timeout for Fullington. Timeout on the floor. The score right now 41-40 with 3:37 left to play. 20 points. 20 points for Murphy Head tonight. 3:37 left to play. Time back in on the floor. Be Fullington's ball with 3:37 left to play. A 1-point lead right now for Flint River. Jeff Barron throws into Murphy Head. Murphy Head coming around on the outside. Over to Barron. Barron into Peavy. Back to Barron. Barron driving in the lane. Back out to Jackson. Jackson over to Brandon. Back to Jackson. Jackson to Head. Head in the lane. Back to Jackson. Over to Barron. Barron putting up a jumper, and it's good. 42-41. A 1-point lead now for Fullington. Fullington goes ahead by one. Almost taken away by Fullington. Brown with the ball on the outside. Dickinson with it, driving into the basket and putting it up is short. It's no good. It's taken by Head. Head with the ball. There's timeout. Bozeman calls another timeout. Fullington in the lead by 1-12 with 2:56 left to play in the boys' game here at Westfield Academy up at Perry. First game of the region tournament, Region 2A. Fullington ahead now, won by 1 point. They were behind by 7 or 8 points at one time, but now they pull within one. Or pull one ahead, and they'll have the ball. Bring the ball in. 42-41, 2:56 left to play here in the game. Fans are getting excited. Fullington well represented here tonight. A crowd of people from Dooley County and Chris County coming up to see these boys and girls play. The girls being unsuccessful in their try of the first game here in tournament. Time back in now with 2:56 left to play in the fourth quarter. The score 42-41, a 1-point lead for Fullington. And Fullington will be bringing the ball in. Love comes back into the game for Flint River. In the game now for Fullington is Barron and Head, and they bring the ball in. Also Jeff Peavy, Keith Brannon, and Chuck Jackson. Barron crossing midcourt with it. Peavy. Peavy over to Barron. Barron driving in over to Jackson in the corner. Jackson with it back to Barron. Barron out to Head. Head going in down the lane, but holds back up. And over to Barron. Barron over to Peavy. Back to Barron. Head with it. 1-point lead for Fullington. Head with the ball. To Peavy. Peavy over to Head. Head way outside. They work themselves all the way away from the basket. Peavy with it out at midcourt. Peavy with the ball into Barron. Barron driving in the basket. Put it over here. No good. 1:58 left to play in the fourth quarter. 1-point lead now for Fullington. Brown coming down with the ball. Brown driving in the basket. It's no good. Flint River now calls the timeout with 1:50. 1:50 left to play in the fourth quarter with timeout. The score is 42-41, a 1-point lead for Fullington. They had a play going down on the other end. Fullington drove in for a layup, and it was no good. A 1-point lead for Fullington, but Flint River be bringing the ball in. 1:50 left to play in the fourth quarter. Fullington was behind 7 or 8 points at one time. But they've come and pulled ahead by 1 point. The strategy, I think, would be this, probably. Would be that Flint River would, certainly they've got to shoot. And they'll be trying to play for a last shot, probably. They'll want to shoot and not give Fullington any time at all to come back down court with it. Fullington ahead by 1. Brown outside the top of the key. Over to Love. Love with it. Love back to Brown. 1:39 left to play in the fourth quarter. Love with it. Love putting a jumper up. It's no good. And it's taken by Fred, and he's being fouled by number 12, Dickerson. That's his 5th foul. That's 5 fouls on Dickerson. Dickerson fouls out. 42-41, a 1-point lead. And that's all for Dickerson. He'll come out of the game. Calhoun will be coming back into the game. Flint River is calling a timeout, trying to call a timeout. 42-41, 1:34 left to play. 42-41, 1:34 left to play in the game. A 1-point lead. Wayne Brown, our cameraman, and no, it's all right. 1:34 left to play. In the fourth quarter, 1-point lead. 1:34 left to play in the fourth quarter, 1-point lead for Fullington. And Fullington will have the ball, I believe. Murphy here to be going to the line. He was fouled by Dickerson. Dickerson fouls out of the game. Murphy here to be going to the line. Be shooting a 1-and-1. 1:34 left to play in the game. The crowd on their feet here at Westfield. The first shot's up and it's good! Oh, it rolled in and out. It's back down in. I want to tell you. Oh, everybody's on their feet, and Murphy Head ready to put another one in, and it's no good, and it's taken by Brown. A 2-point lead for Fullington now. Brown with it, 1:28. Brown outside the key with it. Over to Love. Love back to Brown. Brown back to Love. Love putting a long jumper up. It's no good. And it's taken by Love. Love back out to number 14, Calhoun. Calhoun back to Love in the corner. 2-point lead. 1:12 left to play in the game. Brown with it over to number 14, Calhoun. Calhoun getting into number 40. And it's going to be a jump ball. Trying to get it into McDaniel. McDaniel put it up and it was no good. A foul on Brown. There was a jump ball and they call a foul on Brown for Flint River. And if we're getting excited, we just hope that you can hear us. We're up high in the stands here and people are standing all around us. It was a jump ball, but it got rough under the basket and Brown was called for a foul with 2-point lead for Fullington, and Jackson will be shooting one, and it's no good. 1:03 left to play in the fourth quarter. Brown coming down with the ball. Brown over to Calhoun. Their coach trying to call a timeout, and they don't see him. He puts it up, and it's good. All tied up, 43 all, 50 seconds left to go. Head with the ball. Back to Barron. Head still has the ball over to Peavy. Peavy with it across the midcourt. 41 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. All tied up, 43 all. Bozeman calls a timeout for Fullington. 36 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter. Fullington with the ball, all tied up, 43 all. It's been an exciting fourth quarter, to say the least. 43 all, 36 seconds left to play, and Fullington has the ball, all tied up. I'll tell you, it's been an exciting fourth quarter. Fullington behind by 7 or 8 points at one time or another. But now it's all tied up. They pull the one ahead, and now it's all tied up, 43 all. And I don't know where we'll be able to talk tomorrow night. You know, I look around at faces at this ball game, and I see people standing. Just standing all over, and then I see some sitting down, and hardly can move. They're so tense. Different folks for different strokes, and different strokes for different folks, they say. Excitement for a lot of people, standing up, shouting, encouragement, and then some people so nervous they can't stand up. Calmly, sitting down. 36 seconds left to go in the game, 43 all. It's brought in by Fullington. Barron crosses midcourt. 31 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter. Barron to Head. Head with the ball back to Jackson. To Barron. Barron to Jackson. 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 Jackson calls a timeout. 16 seconds left to play in the boys' game. All tied up, 43 all. 16 seconds left to play. 16 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter. 43 all. And we have had an exciting fourth quarter. It's been a good fourth quarter. Pulling them behind by 7 or 8 points. Then to go 1 ahead. Then 2 ahead, and then all tied up. 43 all. 16 seconds left to go. Well, you would think this is for the state championship the way people are standing here. With 16 seconds left to go, tied up 43 all. Fullington will be bringing the ball in. Jackson going to the side now to bring it in. Jackson to Head. 15, 14, 13 seconds left to play. Head with the ball over to Jackson. Jackson, Jackson, Jackson with the ball. Needs to get it to Barron. Barron, 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2 seconds left to play. That's going to be the end of the game. Timeout has run out on the clock. The score is 43 to 43, and we're going into overtime. We're going into overtime. No time left on the clock. 43 all. We're going into overtime. 43 all. Oh, it's been an exciting game. The fourth quarter, back and forth, and then a 1-point lead. Then a 2-point, then tied up. And right at the buzzer, Barron going in and couldn't score. And time ran out on the clock. 3 minutes put back on the clock now for the overtime. 3 minutes. Going into overtime. Brennan has 4 fouls. Peavy has 4. Three minutes now in overtime. 3 minutes put on the clock. 3 minutes on the clock. All tied up. It's been a good second half. Peavy ready to jump now with Todd. 3 minutes. Todd and Peavy ready to jump. And it's taken by number 42, Love, for Flint River. 2:54 left to play in the game now, or in the first overtime. Brown outside the key, over to Love. Love back to Brown. Brown all the way over to Calhoun. Calhoun back to Brown. Brown outside the key. Tied up, 43 all here in the first overtime. Brown on the outside of the key. Back over to Love. Love back to Brown. Brown outside the key over to Calhoun. Calhoun trying to get it into number 44 McDaniel or Todd, and he hits for two. 45-43. 2-point lead for Flint River now. Fullington with the ball. All the way down to Brannon. Brannon with the ball over the head. 45-43. 2:10. 2:08. 2:06. Counting down the seconds here in the first overtime. Barron. Over to Jackson. Jackson way outside. Jackson getting it to Brennan in the corner. Brennan back out to Jackson. Back to Brennan. Brennan. Brennan back to Jackson. Jackson way outside. Over to Barron. Barron needs a drive to the basket. Barron back. Barron back over to Jackson. 1:36 left to play. A 2-point lead for Flint River. Getting into Peavy. Peavy along the baseline, going to put it up. It's no good. It's blocked, and it's taken by number 44, Todd. 45-43, a 2-point lead for Flint River. A 2-point lead with 1:22 left to play in the first overtime, and be Flint River's ball. A 2-point lead now with 1:22 left to play, and Flint River calls a timeout. 45-43, a 2-point lead for Flint River. Fullington had a couple of chances, a couple at the free throw line, but they played hard. So has Flint River. Flint River's got some tall boys on their team. 1:22 left to play in the first overtime. 45-43. Flint River pulling ahead by 2. Fullington needs to cause a turnover here if they can, and they've been able to do it with a press by putting the press on Flint River. Brown will be going to the outside for Flint River to bring the ball in to Calhoun. Calhoun back over to McDaniel. McDaniel back out to Brown. Brown over to Love. Love way out at midcourt over to McDaniel, and he's walking with the ball, but they don't call it. Brown out at midcourt, driving in the basket. Over to McDaniel, back to Brown, back to Calhoun. Calhoun over to Love. 56 seconds left to go in the first overtime. A 2-point lead for Flint River. Calhoun over to Brown. Brown going in, giving it number 40, and is taken down, rebound by Brandon. And number 44, Todd's going to be called for a foul. Todd called for a foul. That's his 4th foul. 45-43, 44 seconds left to play in the first overtime. Keith Brandon coming down with the rebound. After McDaniel tried to put it up, and Keith Brandon coming down with the rebound, and he'll be going to the line to shoot a 1-and-1. A 2-point lead here in the first overtime for Flint River. Keith Brandon shooting a 1-and-1. It's up, and it's good. 45-44. Keith Brandon has a chance to tie it up with 44 seconds left in the first overtime. 45-44, 1-point lead here in the first overtime. Brandon putting the second shot up, and it's in and out, no good. And Murphy Head's going to be called for a foul. 43 seconds left to play in the first overtime. Brown going for the rebound. A 1-point lead now for Flint River. Brown for Flint River is going to the line. 45-44, 43 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter. Brown ready to put a 1-and-1 up. It's up, and it's no good. It's taken by Brandon over the head. 41 seconds left to play in the first overtime. Barron with a ball across the midcourt. Barron over the head. Head with the ball. 30 seconds left to play in the first overtime. Over to Barron. Barron back out to Jackson. Back out to Peavy. Peavy on the outside to Barron. Barron with the ball. To Head. Head on the outside. There's timeout. 17 seconds left to play in the first overtime, and Bozeman calls a timeout. 1 point lead for Flint River. Timeout on the floor. 17 seconds left to play in the first overtime. One point lead for Flint River. Fullington will be bringing the ball in with 17 seconds left to play. I'm Amos Sellers along with Wayne Brown at Westfield Academy. And the 2A tournament, girls losing out in their game at 4 o'clock to Barnesville Academy. They beat Barnesville twice earlier in the year. 17 seconds to go. Fullington bring the ball in. Barron with it now. 13 seconds. Peavy with it. Jackson with it. To Head. Head needs to put it up. He needs to put it up. It's up. It's no good. And he's going to be fouled by number 40. Number 40, McDaniel is fouling Head. As Head went up to shoot, it should be a two-shot deal. I think he was fouling after shooting. They made a call after he come down. 5 seconds. 5 seconds left on the clock in the first overtime. Timeout called by Flint River coach. 1 point lead for Flint River. 5 seconds. 5 seconds left to play in the first overtime, and Flint River with a 1 point lead. Murphy Head will be going to the line. 5 seconds. We are in the first overtime. Tied up at the end of the game, 43 all. At the end of the game, and then it's got to where it's 45-44 at this point of the game. At this point of the game, 5 seconds. Flint River coach still. Flint River coach questioning the call. It's been a minute or so ago. Murphy Head to be going to the line. 5 seconds. 5 seconds left to go in this first overtime. Murphy Head be shooting 2. He's ready to put the first one up. It's up and it's no good. Murphy Head usually good on 3 throws. Missed the one while ago and missed this one. 5 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. Or in the first overtime, 5 seconds. Murphy Head ready to put the second shot up. The shot's up and it's good. All tied up. 45 all with 5 seconds left to play, and it's knocked out of bounds by Brandon, and it's let's see, there's 5 seconds left on the clock. It went out on Keith Brandon's leg. .45 all, 5 seconds left to play. 4 seconds. He turned and he's putting it up and it's good! It's going to count at the end of the buzzer. As the buzzer goes off, Brown putting the ball in for 2 points. The final score here in the first overtime, Flint River 47 and Fullington 45. That wraps it up. That wraps it up. Thank you so much. That wraps it up here at Westfield Academy, here at Perry. I'm Amos Sellers, along with Wayne Brown, and this is the end of the boys' game, 47-45, going into overtime, and right at the buzzer as it went off, Brown hitting it to make it 47-45. I'm Amos Sellers, along with Wayne Brown, and this has been another sports presentation.